Right. Welcome to the PissMeOffPodcast, podcast about the greatest story you've never read, you'll never read.
Yeah, we're here making content for people not to fucking watch it, apparently. So
Yeah, because last episode got less than half of the views of any other one.
Well, it was pretty shitty. We had a lot of dead airspace.
You didn't watch it? The first 10 minutes was shitty because you weren't chiming in, and then whatever, man.
I was in a bad place, bro.
Yeah, that one, the atmosphere just kind of sucked. And so we had other people say that the volume wasn't as good, but I watched it and I knew what we were saying.
I watched it too, and I was like, this complaint's kind of horseshit. But I mean,
yeah, it was bullshit.
Thank you for the feedback. We appreciate it.
She apologized. I wasn't mad.
I was furious.
I was a little mad at first. But no, we also slam our hands too much. This other guy, we just watched this podcast. Well, we watched like 5 seconds of it. This other podcast from people from our hometown that they have microphones. They have a whole intro video. And fuck.
Shit looks dope, honestly.
Yeah, it looks good, man.
I've never felt like more of an amateur in my life.
Yeah, and I don't think we're going to be taking any of the necessary steps to make this any more professional anytime soon.
Not yet, not at least.
I mean, why do you need a microphone? You can hear what I'm saying. Even when we talk over each other. And you know what? You can hear really well if I slam my hand on the table.
Yeah. I hear that very well.
Fucking virus vacay.
Coronavirus vacay, here we are.
Forget it every time. Hashtag
what the fuck are we doing with our lives right now?
Yeah.
The same as everybody else.
It's so weird.
Alcohol sales were up 50%.
But I got my stimulus check.
Ooh.
So did you.
Yeah, I did, but I had to spend half it on carports.
Yeah, well,
thank God it happened now.
Now I don't owe you any money.
That's true. Now we are squared off, bud.
We did make a deal, but...
Deal or no deal?
Yeah, it wasn't the full price. But...
Also wasn't in writing, so... Just kidding.
Yeah, I might owe you $50, but you can suck a dick on that one.
Yeah, well, I charge a lot more to suck a dick than $50, buddy.
Yeah, well... I don't pay for it.
Fair enough.
So, last time it ended with them having a ghost in their house. This one kind of mentions it, but it also tries to get away from it because...
Well, reading it more now, I feel like my character definitely would have taken a turn on that ghost. I mean, how could you turn that down? How could you turn that down? I don't even got to leave my room. And if I do, not very far.
Which is a perfect segue into my first note, which is at the beginning of the episode, you realize that Rusty's been fucking the ghost because while she may be gross,
pussy's pussy. Tangible or not? Tangible or not?
If it's at home, why not?
I mean, I see it as masturbating with a friend.
Yeah, he says she can go invisible, so it's like fucking Predator.
Yeah.
And then he also says it's like fucking pocket pussy, which...
I know that story.
That is a true story.
It's a true story.
I was...
living at your grandmammy.
I was at my grandmammy, so I was 20 or 21 years old, and I got Christy Mack's pocket pussy, and it was bullshit because you'd have to warm it up, like in warm water, so it would feel more similar. It didn't feel all that similar. But like, how are you gonna dry it? It's like this
Put it
long.
on the dish rack.
It dries in the dishwasher?
I wouldn't know, but I said a dish rack.
Yeah, my grandma's dish rack.
Yeah.
Just a pussy slave.
Hey, yo, Grandma May, you know I'm about to be in a good mood today.
So yeah, that I know real efficient way of drying it off. Used it once, maybe twice, and then it got mold on it, and
just like any other girl he's ever been with.
$60 down the drain, just like every other girl I've ever been with.
Down the fucking drain.
Oh, $60 is my limit.
No, we have no limits here.
That's right. Episode 5, no limits. Which is based off of a real tattoo.
We're not going to get into that just yet. What we're going to talk about is
how much
Russell's shitty handwriting.
Yeah, it's for me. It's not for you.
That's a good point. He's writing in code.
Yeah,
which means he just writes like shit, and I can't read it.
Being a server, with shitty handwriting, I've had to go back to so many tables and tell them my joke is, I can't read my own handwriting, which is true. And then they always laugh, and then I have to,
Yeah, well, I mean, being a server, there's 1.5 million corny jokes that we make, and it's just if two people at the table order the same thing, and you walk up and you're like, who ordered the spaghetti and meatballs? Yeah. And they're gonna look at each other and look at you and you say, just kidding. $20 tip.
Hey, customers always have stupid jokes too. Oh, can I get you anything else? Yeah,
$1 million.
Yeah, somebody left that stupid the fake $1 million bill with the.
I have one of my server book. Yeah.
So some dude, I just brought him back that one time and he left it as a tip.
Yeah, you gotta start coming back. If you hear it enough times, you gotta start coming back with something like, "Oh, I need a suitcase full of hundreds." It's like, dude, all I got is 50s.
Yeah.
They still piss their pants every time.
Yeah, their customers are so funny with their same fucking jokes.
Going to a restaurant is a dad joke field day.
Yeah. So this episode, they talk about Rusty sucking at Tinder and texting, which is true.
It's a very true fact.
Yeah, because I have this just incredible sense of humor, probably better than anybody else that's alive, and it just doesn't come off well in text. So yeah, Tinder's never really worked for me, except for one time in South Carolina, and I got this girl over there. She only stayed for a little bit, but Austin Black tried to convince me afterwards that she was one of these girls that has like a rape fantasy. He's like, she wanted you to rape her.
Oh, I remember that phase where we just went off on a thing for a while, making jokes about how girls just want. Obviously not.
No, they do though, because I mean not all of them, but like I remember even reading this thing about because this is kind of what me and Austin were talking about. I think he brought it up after
hashtag where is Austin Black.
Yeah, hashtag where is Austin Black, because he still hasn't texted me and we still haven't got him on here. But I know there's plenty of girls that do have that fantasy. They want to be raped by like who they want to be raped by. They're pick and choosy with their rapes.
I guarantee
it's a fantasy.
Well, it's a minority fantasy.
It's a minority fantasy?
It's a minority.
Raped by a minority?
No, yes, it's my dream to have a Guatemalan come over and have his way with me. No, it's a minority viewpoint, as in maybe a couple have that, but they were.
I think a lot do. I think a lot do. And I forgot my main point. That was not what all I was trying to say. But no, I read a whole thing about a girl and the guy actually like raped her, and she was like, she thought it was hot.
That's like a mom reading one article about vaccinations causing retardation and disregarding all the other normal things in the entire world.
Yeah, you guys aren't great at commenting, but feel free to comment. Tell us about your rape fantasies. The
only person I've raped is Russell, so
it was consensual.
Well, I mean, at the end it was. Started rough. Told you like it.
Yeah, so this is the reason that I'm bad at Tinder and stuff, because I don't actually rape them when they get to my house. I know, I'm an amateur.
I'm an amateur.
And
put the pussy on a pedestal, man.
Well, this one for sure. I wrote a fucking book about it.
You wrote a fucking book about it. You wrote a book
about
it.
Two of them, actually. Yeah, so then Rusty finds out that Amanda's back with Dustin, which used to happen all the time back in the day before me and Amanda ever got together.
Kinda hot. Just kidding.
She would be with him at one point, then I would see Hope, and then it'd be. So that happened only 200 fucking times in my life.
He counted, so we know.
Yeah.
We had a tally sheet. I mean, it was the wall, and we used Sharpie.
It's like a prison where we just mark off the number of days you've been in there.
Yeah, sometimes we would
into the wall.
Yeah, sometimes we would draw boobs and lick them, but I mean, whatever.
And pee-pees, and he would lick them.
I would drink pee-pees.
And then, of course, Rusty has it in his head that she would rather be with him, even though she got back with Dustin, which is a real thing that used to go through my head. It only took years for me to realize. Years for no contact with her to, well, not no contact, but no, I haven't seen her in person in years. So, it's finally dawned on me, I think. Even sometimes I'm like, maybe she's just fucking around out there.
That's a stalker mentality.
Getting married and everything. It's just she's just passing
stalker mentality.
Stalker mentality. That's gonna come.
I know she would like me if I could just get her in a room chained up by herself. I know she would like me.
She would definitely like me.
I'll give her all the fruit punch she wants. I swear to God, I'll give her all the Five Alive.
Five Alive. Still haven't tried that. That was Alex's
childhood drink.
His childhood drink.
Whatever. Delicious.
But yeah, I used to say stuff like that all the time. Still do sometimes. Sometimes you just got to talk yourself up to yourself.
You do that too often.
Yeah, but
It's very, very, very narcissistic.
Well, it's true though.
My point made exactly.
I mean, read the whole story and tell me it's not true. Read the whole story so you can give me in detail why it's not true. That I'm not the greatest storyteller of all time. I don't give a shit if they will. And they do. They're waiting. So yeah, Alex comes up with the idea to go to TGI Fridays for the Endless Apps,
which we used to do every Wednesday. It was Wednesday.
It was every Wednesday.
It was our Wednesday randomly, because Russell and I's relationship was never like an everyday hangout close. It was just we would randomly hit each other up for like one thing. We just always were both down. And it worked its way into us both being fat and wanting to see movies on the same day.
Yeah, and when we first started hanging out, we would crash parties together. Yeah. We were never invited
We never hung out throughout the week, but for some reason, every Friday, we just automatically assumed that
we would find the party and we would just go to
parties
and make it better.
So I think we did back then at least. Now it's depressing.
So does everybody else.
Now if I show up and start taking my pants off, the cops get called.
Yeah, when we show up to high school parties now, it's not as cool, but we have fun.
I mean, I have fun. I scare the shit out of those kids.
And then, damn, I just hit the table. Sorry, Jamie. Sorry, Jamie. So yeah, the ghost is in this one for all of 2 seconds, just because you need continuity. But I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this is the last time Shiver shows up because it's so stupid. It's a good character for that one episode, and then it's just there's no reason to. I kind of painted myself in a corner.
Also, again. Russell can't go a single episode without getting a nut off somehow. So
well. That's not true. You'll see.
Fair
the beginning of the episode is actually yours, and it's a lot funnier.
Oh,
one of the funniest things ever.
Oh, I like the Ruth comment, but I'm not going to jump to that.
Well, but she is in the next one too. We'll go back to that. So we made a promise in the first one that we were going to read Chris's story because Chris is a big part of this episode. And I got the dialogue down pretty well for Chris.
You did. Yeah. The lifestyle choices, not so much. Really vegan, but the attitude.
Yeah.
He's not really a vegan drug dealer, but the attitude is spot on.
Exactly. So back when we all worked together, like I said last time, Chris wanted me to write a story for him because he just figured I love writing so much. And not a story, but it was a paper that had to be a certain amount.
It was a 250-word assignment. Yeah, I remember. It was a short assignment. He had to write one every week. You could free write whatever you wanted to. You just had to submit it. So he figured, we'll let Russell have some fun with it. Little did he know that Russell was going to take that opportunity
to write this.
And run so far down Chris's throat with it. Literally.
So, in my head, I was just like, okay, he wants me to write this. I was actually in the middle, I think, of... definitely wasn't writing... this. Maybe I was writing this series. Maybe I don't know if I...
You were not writing the series yet because you didn't start writing it until after you didn't work at...
No, I started writing it when we worked together.
Sharpies, really?
Yeah, we talked about that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Got a bad memory.
It doesn't matter. But so here, I'll read you his story that he turned in.
He turned it. He didn't even read it. He did not read a single word of it. He just, for some reason, trusted Russell to write something that was actually... somewhat school professor reading worthy.
It's good though.
It's great writing, very descriptive. Why don't we go ahead and start off with that?
So this is Chris's story. Again, he turned it in and got an A.
They get an A.
All right. Everyone has gay thoughts, right? I've always felt a little different from my friends. As a child, I played a lot of sports. They were never really all that fun to me. I knew, though, if I kept playing sports, I'd be able to take showers, change clothes, and pal around with the other guys in the locker room. There are a few things better in life than the snapping sound of a towel on your buddy's bare ass. I was a very curious child. When my teammates would remove their cups, I would quietly take them out of their locker and smell them. I may have even licked one or two. My friends would bet me that I couldn't fit the tip of the baseball bat in my mouth. I always won. Nowadays, I could fit about 9 or so inches of the bat in my mouth. That talent didn't come without inspiration. When I was very young, I had a very special relationship with my uncle. Every time we were in the room together, he would make me sit on his lap. We had a game we called Puppy Love, where we would crawl around on the floor, naked of course, pretending to be dogs and sniff each other's butts. Unfortunately, the older I got, the less my uncle paid attention to me. To be perfectly honest, I've always felt as though I'm a woman in a man's body. When my girlfriend isn't around, I like to dress in her clothes and use her makeup. I pretend my name is Christina. One day, I'd like to let the real Christina out. I've grown out my hair and have definitely put thought into surgery. For now, I just practice walking around with my genitals tucked between my legs. Caitlyn Jenner is undoubtedly my hero. She is a beautiful woman, and I hope to be one too someday. If there is one thing I've learned in my life, it's YOLO. What am I hiding from? With the conclusion of this essay, I have come to terms with the absolute truth. I'm gay.
So he didn't read it.
Didn't read it.
Sent it to his professor, got an A, and now my theory is he strictly got an A because as a professor, how in the fuck would you grade that?
Yeah.
If I were to start reading that from one of my students, I'd be like, you're just going to ace the whole course because I don't want another one of these sitting on my desk.
Yeah, and this is right after Caitlyn Jenner came out as Caitlyn, so...
Before the dick came off.
Yeah. Well, he still has his dick.
No.
I think he does.
I promise you he didn't. He said it on the roast. He said it on the roast of Caitlyn Jenner. He said everybody's making all these jokes, but it's gone. I swear to you.
Gross.
Caitlyn Jenner just chopped off all the Olympic medals.
Everything that made her unique. Everything that made her athletic. All right, we're not going to get into all that.
No, we're not.
The thing is gross, though.
Strong woman. Strong woman, brother.
Yeah, and then, Chris's character is like a vegan. Chris isn't really a vegan.
No, he actually, which is funny because he literally does not eat any vegetables. If it's green, he will not eat it.
I eat vegan food every so often, but it's usually garnished on my meat.
Kale. Parsley.
I used to make this kale goulash shit that was really good that my dad, but it wasn't vegan. I put like Italian sausage in it.
I bet you did.
That's right.
I'm Italian. I'm Italian, by the way.
He's an eggplant. It's from a movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, then one of the big jokes about Chris is that they shit outside to save water and just save shit from going into the ocean or whatever. Fucking.
Whatever hippies do. If you're a hippie, thank you because you're doing shit that I won't do, and I know it's good for the planet. I just don't care enough.
You did. You went a good month being vegan.
Yeah, but that was for completely selfish reasons. It had nothing to do with Mother Earth. So
yeah, that's true.
I also went keto right after that too.
Fat boy, and then you quit doing that shit too.
Yeah, I did. I did vegan keto.
Quitter,
and I was like, you know what, man? I just like beer and whatever else I can stuff in my goddamn gullet. So
yeah, well, I've been eating keto the past 2 days, but fucking been bullshit. I ate a fucking chicken Philly and a whole thing of fried calamari last night, and then today I ate a whole Publix sub and like 3 pieces of fried catfish at Publix because their fucking batter is the best. And catfish.
Shout out to Pub Subs, Publix in general.
Publix subs and fried catfish is the best.
We made funnel cake bites last night, and I feel like a fat turd, but here we are.
You look like a fat turd.
I am a fat turd. I smell like shit.
I feel like my face is noticeably fatter just from there's a fucking fly on here.
No, there's not. You're ruining the scene.
So yeah, Chris also has the argument that slaughter farms are more humane than the wild, which I kind of believe. You have the animal out there with its friends, sees its friends every day, and then it gets its throat cut or just gets shot in the head with an air gun or that whatever that thing's
nail gun or whatever the fuck they are.
Yeah, there's like a nail.
It's like a bolt. It's like a bolt.
Yeah, it's a bolt that comes out and. Better than being eaten alive. In the wild, you always die by being eaten alive. You know what I mean? Even if you're just starting to die from old age, you fall down a little bit, somebody's going to come eat you.
That's true. That's a fact.
Beat ants and shit. These pigs might be like kicked around and shit by the guys who work there, but at least they're with their families.
Yeah, but look,
it's food. You got to separate the wild animals from the food.
I want my bacon.
Yeah, you grow food. Animal slaves. There's still people slaves out there today, so
sexual or otherwise. So.
And then it goes into the part which I think is just one of my favorite little arguments I've ever had in here, which is I'm sure everybody knows once when you go and buy, at least in the places where weed's still illegal, you buy pot from your dealer, there's like an expectation to
smoke with you.
Share some of your weed with the dealer. Yeah, and I used to
Well, it's
sell pot
customary.
in
It's
the,
more of like a cultural thing where, I mean, it's like a shot at, I mean, I think of it as like a mafia style sit down kind of deal. And I get it, but Russell
makes a great point how, you go into Domino's, you buy $200 of pizza,
You're
but
right.
you don't get the fucking cashier slice. If anything, you get something free. Alex just tried to slyly write on this paper that he has to pee, so we're going to pause real quick to let him go let out his little girl bladder.
Fake news.
Be right back. And we're back.
Sub dude on Slater.
And so then they take a dab. Then Rusty's forced into taking a dab because when all my friends were really into dabbing, not so much anymore. They used to always make me do it, which I got a lot better at it. But the first 2 or 3 times I did it, it felt like someone's fucking squeezing your lungs, and I hated that feeling. And then I always felt like I would have to puke.
It's a lot like your first sexual experience, isn't it?
Usually the girls puke, but that's just I tell them they look fat.
No, it's because of smell.
No, I smell good.
I wasn't saying it was your smell.
Oh, it's because their smell?
Whatever your imagination can come up with.
Oh, it's an ambiguous story.
Very ambiguous.
So, and then Chris's dog, I don't know what your guys' experience are like, but I've been to so many, like, it's always like a popular or something, some kind of, and they have their dogs are just like these shitty people just don't know how to train their dogs.
Was this about Bluford?
No.
Good. Bluford was my dude.
This might have been before Bluford.
Blah, 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 floor.
Before. So the dog's getting pissed at Rusty coughing for some reason. And it's always some weird thing that you can't do in front of the dog.
I'd be fucking pissed too, man.
They're just pieces of shit that don't know how to train their dogs.
Or maybe they train them to do that.
So Rusty ends up throwing up from smoking the dab and throws up on the dog's face.
It has nothing to do with the shit all over the backyard.
Yeah, ends up getting kicked out of the house. Hold on, bro. Let me pee real quick. And we're back.
Yeah. I'm the governor of California.
So then they're in the car on their way to TGI Fridays, and then Rusty still smells puke. And that's just happens to me every time. For some reason, when I puke, it goes to my nose. I know that doesn't happen to a lot of people.
Well, scientifically, they're all connected.
Well, yeah, your nose is connected to your mouth, but I was just talking about this the other night, and nobody agreed with me.
Well, also, your fucking head bone's connected to your shoulder bone.
What's the song?
I don't fucking
There's
know.
a song. There's
the head bone connected to the
bone.
Fuck you bone.
But not your
yeah.
head bone.
I don't know.
Damn, I just slammed the table again. But yeah, so I remember like when I was 17, I was working at Spencer's. I had gotten sick the night before, and I was driving, and I was like, I still smell puke. I took like 3 showers, brushed my teeth 30 fucking times. Why do I smell puke? And I had a Kleenex tissue, and I blew my nose, and there's a big green pepper just in the tissue.
Was that from Giuseppe's at all? Why else would you be eating green peppers?
I don't know. It could be from Giuseppe's. I mean, they're not the only people. They don't have like
I know they just said
monopoly
special
on
pizza.
green peppers.
Well, no, they had it on the pizza.
I would think if I got anything, it was from. I think it might have been Zeus made me. Because I remember Zeus. The last time I ever had a sausage and pepper sub, which I used to love, Zeus made it, and I got fucking. I don't think I threw up though. But I just felt so sick that I'd never eaten one since, and I kind of miss them. But every time I've had one since, it's like with alcohol that you've had that makes you sick. Not really me, I still drink it anyways, but that you can't drink again. I can't eat sausage and pepper subs anymore because I got sick off one. Probably wouldn't if I was homeless. I kind of am homeless. I've been crashing on couches for almost a month now.
And here we go back to the next subject, which is my favorite running joke of the entire series, is what the fuck is Nick doing and what does he want? Why does he keep showing up? I don't know. It's funny. It's not funny. Either way, it's pissing him off.
It is funny.
And that's the best part about it.
I feel like I just wrote that down and skipped that part when we were reading it. That's the one where he texts, or when he butt dials him. Right?
Yes.
Yeah, so Nick, the thing with that is Nick, when it got to this point, Nick would, instead of reading it to find, because I used to tell him every episode
he would skim for his name.
He would skim for his name. So I was like, well, I got to put Nick's name and dialogue in this one. So I had him butt dial Rusty or Alex, and
That's me, I believe.
just put the ampersand. Is that right? The 3 dots, as in he's just not there because he just butt dialed. So that's probably one of my.
Ampersand is the.
Oh, that's the and.
That's the 8 with the little G.
Oh, because it's ampersand.
It's and for sand.
Ampersand.
I don't know.
Whatever, dude.
I'm not old.
What is that called then? The 3.
Eccentric?
I'm a writer. Eccentric.
I'm in law school. I don't know either.
Well, don't just guess stupid things.
I didn't. I told you what an ampersand was.
And then, so when he throws the Kleenex of puke booger out, it lands on a kid on a bike, which is Dustin, also based on a real person. I've shared my love for him on another podcast. And he did have a tattoo on his arm. It didn't say No Limits. It was really close to No Limits. I'm not going to say what it is. You can go on.
Well, either way, if he ever watches this, he's going to know what the fuck.
He is going to know. But fuck him. That's why this is called No Limits, because of this gay little tattoo. So they see that it's Dustin, and then they have a little race while flicking each other off.
Which, mind you, if he was on a bike, he could have smoked us off the rip. He wanted some.
Yeah.
He wanted it.
So then, obviously, he takes off. They get to the parking lot, and then Rusty sees his, quote, gayest bike I've ever seen, sitting in the bike parking lot, and he decides to kick it over. Because Dustin is, quote, stealing his chicken, which it's true. He was trying to steal my chicken. Even though it was his chicken first, I still think she's my chicken, even though she's married.
Some other guy's chicken.
She's some other guy's chicken, but
a bucket of
spiritually, she's still my chicken.
A bucket of chicken is meant for sharing,
she'll
baby.
always be my chicken. Yeah, that's right. It's
meant for sharing,
a couple
baby.
legs and thighs.
Let me get some Louisiana.
Nobody fuck with my chicken. Gucci. So then they go into TGI Fridays, and you meet Ruth.
Yes, Ruth.
Ruth is based off a real person too. They call her Ruth
Ginsburg.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who was a justice of the peace. I gave her that name because her actual name is another justice of the peace name. Yeah. So that should be easy enough to figure out.
The relationship between Alex and Ruth was actually pretty similar. Actually, pretty much almost identical, except it wasn't a TGI Fridays. It was another establishment that I had to see her all the time at. And she was older, and we did do butt stuff. She was hot. Yeah, she was hot.
We did do butt stuff.
There's deeper layers to this than I can possibly say on this podcast. But either way, her appearance in here, it had to be there. Otherwise, it's not a proper representation of my younger 20s.
Butt stuff coming in episode 6. More butt stuff. Keeping the butt stuff coming to you guys. That's just how we roll.
By the way, I hope she doesn't figure out that that's her. Because if her boyfriend finds out, he'll eat me.
Alright, I got your back, bro.
Yeah, that's not.
I'll just sit on your shoulders, and we'll be one.
Listen, I'm a big guy. This guy, I'm a baby monster. This guy's a real monster, and I'm not trying to get a part of that.
Oh, it's alright, because she's old enough to be your mother.
Actually, I was closer to her age because my mom's old, so I was closer to her. That was why I used to justify it, actually, because when she was 39 and I was 22, so that was like a 17-year difference or something like that. And my mother was in
She didn't look it, though. She was.
No, she looked like she was in her late 20s. And, dude, for me to back that, it was dope. Anyway, so my mom's in her 60s at this point. So I'm like, technically, I mean, you're closer to my age than you are my mom's. But that's the same argument I make about my height. I'm 5'7", so I tell people, technically, I'm closer to 6 foot than I am to 5 foot. So.
And then you ruined my chance with her.
Yeah, I did, but not on purpose. I thought it was funny.
Yeah, I told you not to say anything, and you did.
I had to.
She was only going to do it because of you, apparently. But
yeah, exactly. I gave her the go-ahead, and then that was the...
Never, bitch. Get your tits redone.
Straw that... Oh, God damn it, Russell, for real? God, bro, I told you that confidence.
No, I touched it myself.
I know, but I told you about it first.
I feel like if you told me about it, I wouldn't have went for him.
That's true.
Just a reminder for all the girls out there: get your tits done, get them redone every 10 years, or they will feel like rocks.
I'm gonna die. I'm gonna get murdered. All right, so what's the next fucking talking point, please?
So then your character is trying to convince my character what's the most romantic thing you could do, because he's actually trying to help. Alex is usually just mocking Rusty about Amanda. This time he's trying to help, and he says, what's the most romantic thing you can think of that you can do for a girl? And Rusty comes up with shooting the president. Because damn, I should have looked up this guy's name. I forgot his name.
It was over Jodie Foster, correct?
No. Yes, Jodie Foster, right?
Yeah. The girl from Silence of the Lambs.
Well, she was a woman in Silence of the Lambs. She was 12 years old in Taxi Driver, which is why...
Well, if she was a girl when that happened, imagine who she should have got that other guy to shoot.
She's a lesbo now.
Oh, fuck. Imagine what she could get some woman to shoot now at this point.
I think it's Jodie Foster. It's gotta be Jodie Foster. The name sounds right, but...
it's worth the Google.
I think he's right. The guy shot President Reagan to get her attention, because the Taxi Driver he was going to shoot the governor or whatever. I don't remember. Great movie, but
his poor planning.
If you like The Joker, watch Taxi Driver, because it's kind of just stolen from Martin Scorsese's style from the 70s, like that. And then that other movie, King of Comedy, which I've never seen, but
I haven't seen any of these movies.
Taxi Driver. And then Alex says, no, you should go save her, go to her house, and like in a love movie, Sleeping Beauty is the
Notebook.
Great, I love The Notebook. It's on Netflix. It's on Netflix, and when we were home, I was like, it was like in the middle of the night, and I was like, I want to watch The Notebook right now, but I don't want to turn it on, have Alex go to the bathroom and hear me watching The Notebook.
And I would have, because I used to watch that with my ex.
Oh, well, see, I just didn't want you to make fun of me, but...
Oh, I would have. What I'm saying, I would have heard the dialogue
I love The
and
Notebook.
known what you were fucking watching.
I don't care. I love The Notebook. It's a great movie. Suck my dick.
All right, well, fuck you.
But yeah, you keep comparing it to Sleeping Beauty. Obviously, Dustin's the dragon, and he was going to save her, which I thought about so many times I used to want to do, but I was always too afraid that I would look just too creepy if I just showed up at her house and just go the wrong way, and then she would never talk to me again, so... so many times I just wanted to go, just go to her house and save her from that douchebag, but
didn't work out that way. I mean,
in a way,
that one time with the window,
he broke a window on me.
Guy pulls up to the house.
It was let me tell the story.
I stopped.
It was after they had broken up.
Story time.
I was at Amanda's house with her, and we were in a room, and we heard a motorcycle. She had those
old school Florida shutters.
They come fold down over, and
they look like awnings, but they essentially fold over the windows.
Right. So I got up to go see if that was him outside, and then that shutter just opened, and he was there with his motorcycle helmet, just looking at me, and I'm right next to the window, and he's right there.
Fully erect. I'm just kidding.
No.
Fully erect.
That would have been bad.
That would have been hilarious.
That would have been bad when the glass broke, because it did cut my arm. So I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to say, so I just looked at him, and I went, yeah. He went, motherfucker. He grabbed the helmet, and he broke the window on me. Then I had to get our dogs away from the glass into another room, and then I went out there.
Our dogs.
As I went out there, he took off.
He brought his dog
back
to her house.
No.
You said our dogs.
Mine and Amanda's dogs.
That's what I'm saying. Your dog was at the house.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, I didn't mention it. My dog was at the house.
That's how solid this fuck was. He's like, not only am I going to fucking drill you,
come
but
on.
I'm bringing
man, come on.
Sorry. Anyway, not only am I going to do nice things to you that you consensually agreed to, but I'm bringing my dog, and he's eating your dog's food.
There's no drilling unless drilling was requested. It wasn't that kind of relationship. God damn
Things look different. Love affairs look different to the people on the outside. That's all I know.
Anyway. Because we used to have a window right next to each other, we could hear everything that was going on.
Yeah. There was a window.
Yeah, I know. We could hear everything. Ruth would be there, and Amanda would be with... Yeah. Stop hitting the table.
When we lived together, my room was...
When we lived together, the first house.
The first house. There was an add-on, which was my room. So I had my own door. It was my own little area. But since it was an add-on, there was a window...
that went from my room to his room.
There was a little fucking window. We could literally open the window.
A fucking window. That's what we used it as. Maybe we could just hear what was going on in the other room.
Yeah. And there was that time that you weren't there, and I fired the gun in the house. That's a different story.
No, okay. I wasn't there, but you fired the gun at the house.
That was a different time.
It was a different time, but I was home, and it was right after the whole breaking the window thing, and I thought that motherfucker had came to my house with a gun. It was pitch black. I was walking through my house like I'm about to get shot in the face, and then I find out it's Alex popped the house
Sometimes I shoot
for the
guns.
second time. It's really scary. That's why I don't like him holding a loaded gun by me, because I feel like it's just gonna go off.
I'm a Marine, all right?
Yeah.
If anybody gets shot, I'm just gonna be fine with it, honestly.
Don't touch your face.
Hey, don't touch your fucking face.
But so yeah, like I didn't have the balls to do this in real life, but Rusty gets drunk and gets the balls to just head to her house and just scoop her off her feet, and so they're headed back to Amanda's house. And while they're doing that, a very angry person on a bike who had just had their bike kicked over comes speeding down the road, and then sees
that douchebag.
Sees the Live Without Limits.
I
said it! So then he sees the car that he got into an altercation with earlier, so he slows down, and he's getting mad, telling them to pull over.
I'm driving, correct?
You're driving. Both drunk, and then Rusty's saying he wants.
We just left TGI Fridays.
We were drinking Long Island's, which is
fat
Alex's
with endless chicken bites.
Real drink of choice.
Only at the end of the night.
And then, of course, when I get drunk enough, whatever.
He comes to my room and says that every night, and I don't know what he means. Just don't. I don't get it.
So while Alex is under the opinion, fuck it, we're going to the same place anyways. We go fight in the front yard. Rusty's getting all anxious. He goes, "Oh, scare him a little," and then ends up grabbing the steering wheel, pulling too hard, hits the bike. The bike flies off. He falls. The speed limit sign hits him at the neck and cuts off his head. Now that is actually.
Did he live?
He didn't live. It's actually a real story that somebody who worked with us told me. Obviously not funny in real life, unless it was actually this kid.
Then it would be fucking hilarious. But
by the way, it did happen. So sorry about that.
Yeah,
too. But
absolutely sorry, very sorry.
Yeah. Fuck.
Great fucking talking point for this podcast, though. So I mean, your loss is our gain. But
I remember when Amanda first started reading these. This is the first one I wrote since she had read the other ones, because I was never gonna let her read it, and she wanted me to read it really bad.
I remember that.
And and then she read it. I remember she read this one, and keep in mind she liked all the ones before that. She read this, and then she texted me like, "Oh my god," because she was like so in shock. No, she was shocked. So she didn't talk to me for like an hour, because of the whole Dustin thing.
Are you sure it just didn't take her that long to read it?
No, it was funny. It was because of the Dustin thing. She was really in shock over the Dustin thing, which I was like, oh, you know what I mean?
No, you read the first one.
I'm sorry.
If you read the first one, you shouldn't be surprised,
right? But did I kill your hubby? Did I cut off your hubby's head? Oh, Bumpkin.
Oh,
it's all right.
It's only
not really
metaphorical.
Dead. He's only in jail. Yeah, I cut off her hubby's head, which still makes me laugh. She was fine afterwards, but it took her like an hour to.
Well, once she was done grieving.
Yeah.
I
was so like, really? You're really mad about that?
Fine.
But she didn't seem too happy with that at first.
It's like when your grandma dies and leaves you a bunch of money, and you're like, oh, fuck, my grandma said that's awful, fuck you. And then a month later, you're like, well, now I get this new car. So it's kind of dope. Russell's the new car.
You guys figured out that analogy, because I can't. But yeah, then one of us says, oh, I guess he does have a limit. It's 55, because it's a speed limit 55 sign that cut his head off. Again, which is why it's called No Limits, based on his faggy tattoo.
Well, faggy is in lame. There was no...
That's how I use the word.
I know, I just wanted them to know. I don't want them to think that there's guys sucking dick on his tattoo or anything like that.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be politically correct. I'm not being politically correct.
Ice when we go back.
Oh, yeah.
Look, he even said, don't forget ice. Oh, sorry.
He can go fuck himself.
Anyway. Yeah, so, yeah, that's how we use the word grown up. Didn't mean gay. And whatever. Like, I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings other than the person I'm talking about. So it's just there's only certain words you can call other people that are hurt their feelings. So usually, like for a straight guy like that, calling him a fag pisses him off, and that's how you get in a fight.
That's how you get under somebody's skin.
So, you know, he hits the thing, they go to check on him, they find out that he lost his head, so then they have to find his head, and then when they do, Rusty starts celebrating like he just, you know, had a touchdown and spikes his head on the ground, blood shoots out and gets all over Alex.
Yeah, which in real life I would have picked the head back up and thrown it back at Russell.
Yeah, we probably would have been throwing the head back at each other.
Until one of us was like, dude, come on, this is a murder scene.
That's kind of how it happened.
Yeah. But it would have lasted way longer. There would have been a good game of catch going on. Eventually, I would have hit a hot route.
And keep talking because I forgot to do the
Instagram
hottie of the week. But I know what I'm doing. I just got to get the name right.
Favorite part. Just kidding. I really don't even want to pick
she is really hot in my show right now. And she's not as popular as the ones I've done before, but she needs to get that popular because this girl's fucking beautiful.
Shout out.
Look at her. Look at her face.
That's somebody I definitely wouldn't take home to Mom.
She's Canadian. I would take her home.
No, I wouldn't.
I'd be like, Mom, look what I got.
I'd be like, Mom, don't be jealous. She's
all
from
right.
Canada, so you know what she's all about.
So we'll give you her name in just a second here. So then it just ends. They got to go back to Snick March where they were just there because obviously Ray killed the priest and they had to. So
back to the lab again. Oh, there goes. Whatever.
Yeah. So yeah, somebody's not going to die in every episode. It does start happening a lot more often, but it happens for a reason. These two deaths happen for a reason, and then you'll see what happens. So you know, that's it. That's I guess just keep reading, keep watching, keep laughing. Instagram hottie of the week is Alex Ann.
Ooh,
yeah,
what a coincidence.
Instagram name is Alex Ann LP, which I'll leave in the description. She's so fucking hot. Like,
she's a highly attractive individual. I do appreciate that.
I would probably sell my nieces into slavery just one crack at this. You know what I'm saying?
She could save money on toilet paper by dating me.
Why?
Because I would eat that butt.
All right, that note, we'll see you next time. Thank you. Whee!